Drop-down menus. This week is all about the fun stuff. Drop-down menus are a great review of some of the content that we've previously seen, a nice combination of them. I'm inside the Week 12 lab folder inside dropdown.html. So what is a drop-down menu? When you mouse over it, it looks like something appears. Often it looks like a menu. This one has a drop shadow around it. So that's what we're going to create today. When you mouse over the text, this appears. So same kind of thing. Could be a button, could be text. Over here, there's an example of a picture. Let me pull that into view. This is from the W3 Schools link that you have in Blackboard. So this could be an image that drops down. In this case, another image. That's the larger version. So lots of opportunities here for fun stuff. Let's see the basic steps to a drop-down. First of all, you're almost never going to have to hand code a drop-down menu because you're going to be working in a system like WordPress or another content management system where your drop-down is probably written for you already and you're probably not going to have to edit it. But in this set of videos, you'll learn how it works enough to be comfortable with the stuff that's working for you. So there's always two parts to the dropdown. That is the thing that you're mousing over and the thing that's showing up when you mouse over. And step one is you want to hide the thing that is the content by default. So this is the content here. It's supposed to pop up and say hello world. We're doing this example here where you like this and it pops up hello world. Okay, so step one, hide that text by default. And in this case, it has a class on it. And all of the stuff is packaged up inside a drop-down class, so I'm going to include that as my parent in the contextual selector. So with some judicious copying and pasting, I can make this all work. Display none. So this is step one. Step one, hide the content until you mouse over it. Save and refresh in the browser. So now you should know you can't see that anymore. I can't get it back yet, but that's the next step. Okay, step two is I want the content to show when I'm mousing over the thing, and I'm going to make a mistake when I do this. So it looks like I'm supposed to mouse over this thing. This is a span tag inside the dropdown class, so let me quickly write a selector for that. Dropdown space span, and it's supposed to happen that when I'm hovering over the span, something happens. So I'm going to add a hover pseudo class to that. Now, what happens when I'm hovering over? I'm supposed to be showing that content. The only way I have access to this content is this .dropdown content selector. So I'm going to stick that on. This is going to be trouble, but we'll see how to fix it in a minute. Because it just seems logical, right? This says mouse over me, so it just seems logical that you would be talking about the span as having the hover on it. And in that case, I want to display block. So it says when I'm mousing over that thing, I'm going to hit the drop-down content and display block. Great. Save, refresh. Nothing happens. Poop. Why not? Well, look carefully here. This is a contextual selector. There's space here, and that means that this is a parent-child relationship. But look, drop-down content is not a child of this span. It happens after it. The only child-parent relationship I have here is between drop-down content and drop-down. So that's what I have to be hovering over. Fortunately, it's totally fine to do that. If I'm hovering over somewhere inside this drop-down area, then show this text by display block. Save and refresh. Better. Okay, much better. But now here so let me put that in step two. Step two, show when hovering over parent. You have to have some kind of parent-child relationship here because that's how you have to construct your selector. It's your only option, really, or your best option. Problem is that when I mouse over here, I also see the hello world text, and knowing what we know about inline and block level elements, you can probably see why. So if I inspect that drop-down element, it goes across the page. Its text may stop, but it continues transparently across the width of the whole page. Now, I don't want this behavior. I want to only be able to get that menu when I mouse over the words. That's a different kind of element, right? A block level element extends across the page, but an inline element sizes itself based on its text. So I have to change this to not be block anymore. However, I want this to sort of be block. I want it to obey things like width and height if I need to. So I'm going to get the best of both worlds by using that one that we've used before, inline dash block. So here we go. My problem is this one, dot dropdown, is behaving as a block level element. I need it to not be. And so this is step 3. Prevent user from being able to hover over the whole line to get the dropdown. So inline block will cause this element to size itself based on its text. Therefore, it will end where its text ends. And we can see that if I refresh and hover over the dropdown, now it's only that big, not the whole width of the page, which means when I mouse over here, nothing happens. When I mouse over here, beautiful. So those 3 steps, no matter what your dropdown looks like, those are the 3 steps. Everything above and beyond that is just beautification. So I'm going to do one more video about how I might style this to look more like a dropdown, because it's a nice review of absolute and relative positioning. But these 3 steps will work for you always, no matter what's going on in your tags or styling.